Welcome to the apex of sports ownership, the Apex Athletic Collective.
Welcome in everyone to episode 65 of Instigate Success, Building an ABA Franchise. I am your host, as always, Jake Schoen, aka Jakey Muffins, here on the podcast Friday nights here at 9 p.m. Eastern. We've got a special episode here tonight. We'll be reviewing the first couple of weeks here for the Instigators' second season in the ABA, and we'll have some special guests here joining in just a little bit. So let's jump into this week's episode. I think we all remember the home opener game just a couple of weeks ago, the season opener for the Instigators, first game in season 2. We had that matchup against the Louisville Pros at our new home venue, the Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana. Our first time at that new venue. You'll see that is our new opening screen as well for all of our broadcasts. You get to see that awesome bird's eye camera from the drone of the facilities, and that is our new home venue. So that will be every home game for the Instigators, and all of our home games are going to be Saturday nights. So you can go ahead and get yourself tickets for the games at that website right there, www.apexofsports.com/tickets. Get you right over there. Tickets are only $10 per game. You can get season packages as well. Save yourself some money on those season packages. We got 3, 5, and then the full season tickets. That first game, though, we see there the score 124 to 106. Instigators started off with their first ever win in Best Choice Fieldhouse, first ever season opener win, off to a hot start. And we saw a little bit of a different style as far as the game went with the Instigators. Our new coach, Coach Dobbs, implemented some of the various defense plays that we have seen throughout this offseason here, and has seen an improved defense here for the Instigators, only allowing 106, definitely lower than their average from last season. But tough game as always against the Pros anytime we play them. Very physical matchup, and this time we came out ahead going into this matchup. The Pros actually had a winning record against us, and this home opener game was presented by one of our wonderful sponsors, the Stites family. So thank you again to them for sponsoring that home opener. This past week, we had our second game, and we were going into this game at the first time ever as a ranked team. We were ranked number 24 in the nation in the ABA. Going into this week's matchup against the Indiana Legends, a familiar foe that we've seen a few times here in the past. And they are always, a tough matchup as well. So we'll jump into that game. Was Sunday at the Legends, our first road game of the season. That wound up being a final score there, 145 to 117. And the Legends got off to a hot start. If you haven't already seen that game, we did just put that up on YouTube with commentary today. You can go back and watch that full length game. But the Legends got off to a hot start. A lot of turnovers, though, for both of the teams to start the game. And Legends' three-point shooting that got them ahead in the beginning. They had a lead in the first quarter. At half, we got things all squared away. And then in the second half, the Instigators really turned things up and separated themselves, taking advantage of the turnovers. Lots of free throws, too. Record-breaking week for Instigators as far as the free throw line goes. Both in attempts and makes. But if you watch the game, you saw kind of the turning point is when we kind of implemented some of our big men, and the Legends just could not keep up with that. They got a little little foul happy, and then we started going to the line. And once that started happening, the turnovers also started to accumulate as well. For the Legends, we took advantage of several of the 3D plays in effect, and that's what really separated us at the end when it comes to it in the end, is taking advantage of those defensive turnovers. And especially those 3D rules, again, that is a unique rule for the ABA. So if there's a turnover in the backcourt, there's an opportunity for an additional point. So 3 points on a 2-point shot, 4 points on a 3-point shot. After this week, it did jump us up in the standings as far as the division goes. So if we take a look in the division, we are one of the three undefeated teams: Saints, Fury, and the Instigators up at the top. The Saints and Fury 3-0, Instigators 2-0. Fury, the defending champions, are the #1 ranked team in the league currently. Saints #6, and Instigators, we have moved up to #16, the highest that we have ever been in the rankings in Instigators history. So we definitely have a lot to defend at home this upcoming weekend against the Wizards, which we'll be jumping into here in a second. We'll take a look at that full top 25 rankings. We got R circled here at #16. Um, Again, the Fury defending champions at the top here of the leaderboard. But we see some familiar faces on here as well. Played against Southland Saints last season, they're #6. And then the Indiana Lions, an in-state rival, up to #22 at 4-1. And mentioned the game we've got this week coming up. Well, this week, tomorrow night, we've got that matchup against the Wizards. So that is going to be at home against the Wizards, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. You can get your tickets, or you can catch it live here on Patreon if you are not able to make it out to the venue in person. So that is what we've got coming up for this weekend for our Hoosier State Instigators. And it'll be a good matchup. The Wizards are a strong team, and it'll be a tough matchup with the our bullseye on the back for the Instigators being a top 16 team in the nation. And let's see, we also had some record breaking this week. If you didn't already see that, let's show you guys what record was broken this past weekend. The all-time scoring record for the Hoosier State Instigators was broken. Our man Hollywood AB, Alex Brown, the 7-footer himself, is the all-time scoring leader for the Hoosier State Instigators. And he is also and has already been the leader in rebounds and blocks. So let's bring on our first special guest of the evening to see what he has to say about the record himself.
Like they're in the game, but I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait.
On
What's
the
going on,
all-time,
Jake?
we got you on here. You got the all-time scoring lead now for the Hoosier State Instigators. What do you have to say about that?
Honestly, shout out to my teammates for passing me the ball. You know what I'm saying? Putting me in a position to score, and also believing in me when I get a chance to score to make the shot.
Very well said. Do you think you'll be going after Lawan Whitney's 3-point record next?
Um, I think I'm gonna let him have that record for now, and I just keep pushing for the blocks and the rebounds and points. He can have the 3-point. I gotta let him have something.
Yeah, fair point. Uh, we've got, let's bring on our second guest here. We've got one of our new players for this season. We've got Dame joining us. Let's bring Dame on here. Hey, welcome in, Dame. First time
What's up,
here on
Jay?
the stream. Do you want to introduce yourself here to all of the Instigators fans?
Yeah, so I'm Dame. I'm one of the new point guards. Looking to bring defense, playmaking, some 3-point shooting, this season to help the guys out off the bench. Be one of those energy guys that we need.
Appreciate that. And uh, is this your first time in the ABA, or do you have ABA experience?
No, this is my first time in the ABA, so very first season.
Awesome. Well, I'll give everybody a little bit of background here for what's going on. We just had practice this evening, so we've got that matchup coming up tomorrow night. So that's what got some of our players here just came out of practice. Is there anything in particular you guys are looking forward to that matchup against the Wizards tomorrow night?
I'll let Dan go first.
The biggest thing I'm looking forward to, I know they were a really good team last year. I watched a couple of their games from last year. They made it to the divisional finals, I believe. So they're obviously like really solid. So being able to test our abilities against a well-known and respected team out there in Columbus.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to getting this win, having fun. It's a home game, so just looking forward to the fans, everybody coming to fill the seats, put on the show.
Absolutely. We'll be back at Best Choice Fieldhouse this weekend. Anybody who wants to come out, you can go ahead and get your tickets over on our website. Again, that's going to be 7:30 tomorrow night. Um, Now, how do you guys feel about being ranked number 16? That's the highest ever ranking as far as power rankings for the Instigators. Does that kind of put a target on the back of the team now?
No, I think it just let all the top other 15 teams know that hey, we coming.
Thanks.
Also, while I'm on here, Jake, if you want to, you can introduce Malcolm. He's right here. Give me 1 second.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, boy?
Hey, nice to have you on here. Welcome to the podcast. You want to introduce yourself to all the Instigators fans?
Oh yeah, I'm Malcolm Martin, guard number 21. This is my first year with the Hoosier State Instigators. I'm excited to be a part of the team, a part of the family here. Yeah, and we thank you guys for all the support. I'll get that out the way now. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us tonight. Already asked our two other guests, AB and Dame. Um, For the matchup tomorrow night against the Wizards, is there any kind of key factors you're looking for?
I just want to hit the ground running. We've been talking and game planning. We kind of get off the slow starts. Luckily, we got enough firepower where we were able to weather the storm. But getting off to a better start initially, and then I think an area for focus for the entire team is going to be rebounding the ball, limiting our opponent to one shot on their offensive end, and then getting that ball out in transition so we can score and make it easier on ourselves.
Absolutely. I know that's been one of little hiccups is that first quarter. It seems like in the first couple of games, um, but we've had some good teamwork here in the early parts of the season. Uh, is there a specific memory, I guess, in that maybe that first home game for favorite memory so far as an instigator for either one of you guys?
My favorite memory. Let me see. Oh man. I would have to say the first game, us just getting a win. Like it was my first game in the ABA. Like I said, I'm a rookie this year. We had a tough team come down for Louisville. We had it was a tough fought battle. We had a big lead. As a new team together, we didn't do the best job holding that lead, so they were able to cut into it. But we rallied together, pulled together as a team, and we were able to pull it out, get out of there with a W. I know for the rookies, that was a great feeling for us. So I would say, as of right now, that's my highlight so far.
Mine, I would have to say kind of the same thing. I didn't play in the first game, but second game being able to impact on a win, that was huge for me. Being able to come in, give us a spark, and get that lead up, and end up getting a win at the end.
Yeah, and since this is the first time we've had both of you on here, are there any kind of influential basketball players that some of our fans may see resemble you try to resemble your game after? Is that possibly the reason why you've got the number that you're wearing? Anything along the lines of that?
Um, I'll go first. Well, it doesn't have anything to do with the number, but I am from Chicago. I hang my hat on defense. Like I'm the person diving on the floor. I take charges. I want to guard the team's best player. So anybody from Chicago, they'll know. And of course, he played in the NBA. Patrick Beverly, one of the guys. He doesn't get a lot of love for his offense at the NBA level, but in high school he averaged like 40 a game. But nowadays he's more so known for stopping the team's best players. Doing that in all the dirty work on the court. Like I said, diving on the ball, taking charges, all of that, boxing out, all of that stuff. So that's a little bit about my game, and if I had to say, I'd say him.
For
Good
me,
answer.
growing up, my biggest influence was Tony Parker. My dad was a Spurs fan, so he was a lot of Tim Duncan and Tony Parker that I watched growing up. So I like to say that I model my game after him. But the reason I wear number two, Kyrie Irving was my favorite player, like since the Duke days. So once he got into the league, he chose number two, and I've been going number two ever since.
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas?
Another
Hey,
captain here.
yeah,
They got shot. They got shot.
yeah. Good,
Yeah.
good answers from both of you guys. Uh, you want to? Is there any insight from tonight's practice you want to share?
Big emphasis
I don't
tonight
know.
on
We might have
boxing out and
opponents on
crashing the
here.
flag.
But yeah, like Dame said, tonight was about definitely putting our body on guys. Boxing out. Like I said, limiting them to one shot. Those second chance points are easy ways for teams to hang around when we should kind of be pulling away. So emphasizing that.
Absolutely. We've got a three-game home stretch coming up, and then we're back on the road after that. Having three home games, do you guys feel like that's advantageous to have that stretch of home games back to back?
Yo, what's up?
Hey,
What's
what's
up,
up?
JoJo?
Y'all see me?
Yeah, yeah, we've got you here on the podcast.
I haven't been on the podcast yet. I've been super busy.
Yeah,
I
well, I
But
think
yeah,
I think
Dang.
going back to them three home games in a row, I think that's huge for us being able to be in front of the fans, show them what we're really about, especially with these three tough games back to back to back. Being able to, if we can pick up these wins, especially in front of our fans, that'll be huge.
Turn this way.
Oh, yeah, turn
Keep
this way.
growing in that ranking.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
I think Dame talking.
Good, how
Oh,
you
it's
doing?
Dave.
Said we were just coming to speak real fast.
All
Yeah.
right, boy.
We'll all kind of get together. We go bowl, pick cards or something.
Okay, I was telling. We was talking about that.
All right, I'm back, y'all.
I don't know, everybody
All right.
I thought you were talking about
Malcolm.
Oh, I'm finna go there.
Hey,
Yeah,
BB,
I'm
you
going.
even hear the question?
No, I'm sorry. What happened?
Yeah, we got the 3 home games coming up. How are you guys looking forward to the next 3 games? Do you find like it's a little advantageous to have a few home games in a row?
3-0. We're gonna take it one game at a time. JoJo called me. We're gonna take it one game at a time, but I'm looking forward to going 3-0. I'm taking responsibility of us not losing at home.
Let's go.
We gotta take care of the house.
All right. Well, there we go. I mean, if the fans need to point any fingers, we've got the man. We can all say that guaranteed us the next 3 weeks.
Next 3 victories.
Mhm.
But hey, Jake, man, and everybody, I appreciate y'all for letting us come on. But we just get in the car, about to head home from practice.
All right.
All right,
All right, Dane.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Any final thoughts or anything you want to say before we? I think you already dropped out.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. All right. And was there any final thoughts or final things you wanted to share with the fans? Any kind of things that you want the fans to know about yourself?
Well, first thing first, like Malcolm said earlier, thank you for all the support. Thank you for everything y'all do for us. Helping us get paid, helping us have a stream that we can give out to you guys. The support that you give us, really appreciate that. But yeah, man, this season I just really want to impact winning as much as possible. So hopefully I can do that for the fam, and we can go into the postseason rolling, so we can possibly win the division and then go to Alabama and win the whole thing.
Yeah, I've got one last question for you. With the fans being involved so heavily with the instigators, kind of what's your opinion with having the fans voting on a lot of different decisions? I mean, we had the fans vote on the logo, the jerseys, and even every week we have that 12th man is the fans man vote.
No, yeah, I like that because a lot of fans, they feel like they don't have a voice, or a lot of the fans would say like, oh, like I could be a GM, or he's doing a terrible job. So now they get the chance to actually be involved and understand what you guys go through on a weekly basis, trying to figure out rotations, trying to figure out jerseys before the season, all of that stuff. So that's huge for the fans, and like so they can get to understand what's really going on behind the scenes. I do appreciate the jerseys. I love the jerseys. I love the color coordination and all of that, and the fit for them is perfect. So appreciate y'all for them jerseys.
Yeah, great design, fan created design. Appreciate you having the time tonight to stop by, introduce yourself to our fans. Do you let us know your socials where the fans can follow you?
Yeah, so I really only got Instagram. So Instagram is Coach Dame, I believe. Just Coach Dame. Coach_Dame_. That'll be my Instagram tag.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that and appreciate having you on here. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night and throughout the season as a big piece of the Instigators here in our second ABA season.
Yes, sir. Let's get this dub tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you again for joining us. Hopefully we'll be able to have you on here again in the future.
Oh, for sure. Just let me know.
Absolutely. All right. Take care. Have fun
You too.
tomorrow.
Bye.
All right, so we got a little insight for that game. Again, that is going to be tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Best Choice Fieldhouse in Fishers, Indiana, our new home venue. And that again, that's going to be a big matchup against the Wizards, a real tough test at home for the Hoosier State Instigators. And that starts that 3-game home stretch that I mentioned. We have a 3-game home stretch here coming up. Let's pull that up. We got the next 3 games. We got the game against the Wizards tomorrow night, the following weekend against the Kings, and then the Pitbulls to wrap up that 3-game home stretch for your Hoosier State Instigators. But that is going to be a real turning point, I think, here for the Instigators. Once we get through that, then we hit Thanksgiving, get into the holiday season there. But this matchup is real important. Again, we're ranked number 16. That's the highest we've ever been. We've got to make sure we're able to keep ourselves in those rankings. And then next week, we've got the Kings. The Kings were a very impressive team last year. They just had a really close matchup against the Lions this past weekend. And they have, a pretty electric offense. That's going to be when we go into that matchup next weekend against the Kings. That is going to be a key factor for the game. Trying to implement our defense that we've had throughout this first couple of games and trying to slow down the Kings' offense. But again, we've got that matchup against the Wizards here tomorrow night. And we'll jump back into the standings as far as the division. So the division, again, we're in the Central Region Black Division this year, different than last season. Last season we were in the Red Division, but we've got the Fury, the defending champions of the ABA in our division. They are 3-0, number 1 power ranking team. The Saints 3-0, number 6 power ranked team. We got ourselves as well as the number 16 power ranked team. Other teams in the division looking to be ranked, but definitely a competitive division, and the Central Region Black Division. Let's jump over and take a look real quick at the games from that this past weekend here within the division. If you count the broadcast, we do try to put that up on the broadcast as well. But let's jump over there real quick. And it looks like we've got another guest. Let's jump on. Hey,
What's up?
welcome in. How are you doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I am good.
My bad. I'm
Welcome.
running a little behind. I'm still driving home, but I wanted to try and get in before it was too late, so I could at least say what's up to you and say what's up to everybody in here and see what's going on.
Yeah, appreciate it. We've got Dylan Ware, number 4 on your Hoosier State Instigators. Let's pull up. You are the 3rd leading scorer in Instigators history. What do you think about AB taking that crown from Lawan Whitney this past weekend?
It's well deserved, man. We last year at the beginning of the season we went back and forth on it a little bit, but I don't know if you remember last year. I left a little early for the TBL, so I'm pulling it out that he played quite like 10 plus more games than me last year. That's the real reason, or I'd be up there with him. No, I'm playing. He deserves it. He's a good dude for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's got the game advantage on you by a little bit, and I think he's got the game advantage on Lawan by a little bit as well.
Yeah, now he does for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're off to a 2-0 start. We're ranked number 16. That's the highest the Instigators have ever been ranked. What are your thoughts here early in the season as far as how the team's coming together?
We still got some stuff to work on. I mean, it's a good start. It's a positive. Everything's positive. The team's clicking together. We've got a ridiculous amount of talent, I believe, this year that I mean, I don't think I've ever played on an ABA team with this much talent, and I've played on some talented teams. Um, but we still got some stuff to work on. We got to put it all together, you know. The first two games were some decent tests, but nothing compared to what we'll see throughout the season. And we just got to figure out a way to be able to put four quarters together, and we haven't really done that yet. So I feel like people really haven't seen what we're truly capable of. You know, we haven't had more than 2.5 good quarters. If we can put four quarters together, we can be a very, very scary team, I believe.
Absolutely. I know that's something we've hit on with some of our other guests here is that first quarter been off to a little bit of a slow start, it seems like in the first two games, and then we kind of get things kind of get together towards the end of the games. As far as tomorrow's matchup, we're back at home against the Wizards.
They're a
What
solid team, man. They're solid. I think that this is their first game of the season versus us, so they're gonna be coming hungry. And I've played against some of their guys a few times, and they got some athletes. They got some shooters. They're a solid team as long as they've got their whole team there with them. So it should be a good game. They got some dunkers. They got some shooters. Should be a they're very fast paced. So if you like fast paced, high scoring, dunking, all that good stuff, then it's definitely a good game for you to come to.
Absolutely. I know our Instigators fans love dunks. I think you and AB are the two guys that always stand out as far as the dunks come. But
We got some new guys this year though. Don't sleep on them yet. Some of them might not have a great one yet, but I think some of these guys might surprise some people this year with their jumping ability. I know they did to me in practice a few times.
oh, we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that then. If we get some of those in the games, we'll definitely be making a highlight reel.
I can't wait, man. You could just wait though. You'll be able to make a highlight reel just for me and AB alone. But yeah, it'd be nice to mix some other. I mean, last game, man. Last game was a tough one for me. Jumping wise, I had, I think I had three separate opportunities where I could have dunked on somebody. Two of them I got, and unfortunately didn't convert any of the three, which is very uncommon for me. I was pretty upset. Two of them I got fouled on though, and one time their big man got me pretty good. He got me, but I'm coming for people all season long. I'm trying to catch a body every game.
Yeah.
I'm
I know.
excited though, man. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for the season. I think like I said, we got a lot of talent. And coach has been the glue holding it all together. She's both of them. But Coach Dobbs, she's unbelievable, man. She really cares about everybody, which I think's been her key in helping keep everything together. She's not just in it to do it. She's not in it just to have fun. She's in it because she genuinely cares about us. She cares about us as young men. She cares about us off the court. She does a lot of things for everybody that may be seen or that may also not be seen. So I think that no matter how far we go, if we do what we should and do what she wants us to do, man, we got a solid shot this year to make a very good run. Love Coach though.
That's awesome to hear. We definitely. I know when we did interviews for coaches, we really liked Coach Dobbs, and you think she's better than our previous coach, Coach Frosty?
Man, he was terrible. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He did a great job in the short time he had with little preparation. he was able to come out with a winning record. We pulled off some solid games last year. We just weren't able. We didn't have some of the same pieces we do this year. We weren't able to hold it all together. But I can't say anything bad about my man. He holds it down for us.
Absolutely. I know you and I think we always, that's one of the things he talks about is we both have went through a couple of different hairstyles throughout the 2 seasons. What out of your hairstyles, what would you say was your favorite one? I know we had the braids when you first were on the team, the shaved head, now a little bit of a different style as well now.
I had the dreads at one point too.
Yeah.
The braids are coming back. I just my hair's just now starting to get long enough. This last game versus the Legends, I did have it braided for the first time, so they're coming back. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
I don't know though. I like to mix it up. I always do that. I kind of grow it out, do something a little bit different with it, and cut it all off. So sometimes I go bald or close to. Sometimes I keep a little bit on and I grow it out different again. And it's a cycle for me. I like to keep it mixed up. Sorry,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
stopping at Banks too. I know you know. If anyone doesn't know, I own a business as well. So I'm trying to get some stuff done late at night. I was working all day before practice. Long night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you familiar with my business, Jake?
I have seen some of your stuff on social. If you want to tell the fans about what you do.
Yeah, I mean, so two things. One, I own a vape and CBD shop out in Danville, Indiana. If you guys are ever coming through Danville, make sure you stop by. It's called the Coffee Shops, spelled COUGHIE. We got a good selection of different stuff: nicotine, Delta, CBD, accessories, all the above. You know, we're kind of a one-stop shop type of thing. Even got Red Bulls in there. And then also, so that I own that. Also, I run a business with my dad. It's called First Place Construction. We're also out of Danville. We've got multiple different crews. We can do pretty much everything, full-blown builds, additions, remodels. We specialize in a little bit of it all. So, yeah, if anyone ever needs anything like that done, feel free to give me a call. We can definitely get you a free estimate, free quote, and I'll make sure I give you an Instigator fan discount.
Yeah, that's awesome. So our Instigators fans, you hear that? You get an exclusive discount there for being a loyal fan.
Either of them. If I give you an estimate for your job for anything construction wise, I'll make sure I take care of you. And if you stop by the shop, I'll definitely make sure I take care of you if I'm working that day. If not, just let me know ahead of time and I'll make sure one of my employees does.
Yeah, and we've got a 3-game home stretch here coming up. Do you think it's advantageous to have, the back-to-back-to-back home games here for the Instigators?
Oh yeah, it's love it. Even obviously, anytime you're driving it, you got a little bit of wear and tear. It might not be too much, might not be too affected, especially for some of the younger guys, but there's definitely a little bit of wear and tear. So obviously that helps, not having to drive as far, and then having our home court fans come through, be loud, cheer for us. I feel like we have one of the better environments in the league with how our gym's built and the amount of support we get. Our fans are always great. They're always loud. They always have a good time. I think Corey does a good job at keeping everybody engaged too. So it just, whenever the fans are having fun, engaged, the kids are out, it brings in a good environment for everybody, and it makes it a lot easier for us to go out, have fun, do our thing. I know AB for sure. He's a crowd pleaser. The louder people are, the more excited people are, hyping him up, the more dunks and blocks you'll see. So, yeah, I'd say it's very advantageous to be playing at home anytime, especially with our fans and our players.
Absolutely. And what do you think of the new home venue for this season, Best Choice Fieldhouse?
I love it. I mean, it's closer to home for me, which is obviously nice. seems like a lot of our loyal fans have still been able to make it out. Plus, we've got a wide variety of new people coming in, which is always lovely to see. We love new faces, love seeing more kids in there having a good time, clapping, cheering, wearing jerseys. It's the venue's great. They've been great working with us. It's nice that they've got other tournaments, other ways for us to build relationships and support other people as well. The town of Fishers is lovely. I feel like they've started to accept us very well. We've done a very good job putting our faces out there, introducing ourselves, and people have really welcomed us, it seems like, and really just showed their support. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff going on with different businesses out there. We do a lot of sponsorship events, and it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun with the new venue. I also wanted to I forgot to say this. This is so with my business. I kind of want to throw this out there. The coffee shop. Our 1 year anniversary will be November 18th. So coming up soon. We've had a good year, and one of my main goals whenever I like to start was to start a business, but it was also to expand and try and give back as much as possible. So I wanted to let people know, if you guys are interested yourself or have anybody else that's interested, if you stop by the shop anytime through November, you spend $1. That's it. You got to spend $1. You're able to enter your name into a drawing, and we're actually going to be sponsoring a family this Christmas. However, whoever wins our drawing, we're probably going to announce the winner anonymously, just for privacy reasons and everything. But we're actually, like I said, we're going to be sponsoring a family, get all their Christmas taken care of. We'll announce the winner at the end of November. That way we got plenty of time to get everything picked out, ordered, paid for, and get everything ready for Christmas. So I wanted to make that known too. If you guys know anybody or think it could benefit you, definitely make sure and stop by and hopefully try and take advantage. I'm super excited for it, and I want to try and go all out for someone, really help someone out this year. Hopefully make it a tradition every year to kind of add in more people every year, do more families, and just make it a yearly thing.
Absolutely, that's an amazing thing that you're doing there for the community. Definitely the holidays can be a tough times for some people, so we really appreciate that.
I've been there, done that. I'm a young parent. I know how it is. It's a rough time. It's a rough time for everybody, especially with what's been going on in the world, and it's just crazy right now. I wish I could do more, but baby steps. We'll make our way up there one day. Got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And I heard a rumor that your face might be on a billboard here coming up soon.
I've heard that as well. I still haven't seen it yet, but I have heard that. Anybody in here tonight, if you want to take a look, you reach out to someone on the Instigators, get my number. First person to send me a super clear picture of it where you can see it, and I got it on there. I'll make sure I take care of you with something at the smoke shop, or free picture, free jersey, something along the lines. We can work it out, but I need a picture of the billboard, and we'll make a nice little business deal. First person to send it to me, because I still haven't seen it, and I don't know if I'll have time to make it up there myself.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping that I can get a chance one of these home games that I'll be up for to get a chance to see that myself as well. But as far as this season, is there anything in particular you want to focus on here as we get down the stretch? We've got our first 2 games under the belt and just starting to get into things.
Just playing together as a team, man. I feel like that's really all we're missing. The practices are intense. The games are intense. Everyone has respect for coach. Everyone has respect for each other, which wasn't always the case last year. We're very talented. We're very well-rounded. We're very deep in our rotation, which is, again, something that not a lot of teams can say. It's just getting the flow together, playing together well. As long as we can keep building up, keep growing, and everything else stays where it's at, stays the same with the respect aspect and that sort of thing, I think will be very solid moving forward. I think that's the big key to it. Just finding our rhythm as a team, finding our rotation, finding our ball movements. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm super excited though.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. I know we're getting close here towards the end of the podcast as well. Was there any final thoughts you wanted to share?
Man, I appreciate you having me on. Sorry I was late, but I'm glad I was able to talk to everybody. Thanks for letting me shout out my business. I'm super excited for the season. Thanks everybody for joining and taking a listen. And like
Yeah,
I said,
and
hope someone can get this business deal worked out with me. I need that picture, signed jersey, something. We'll make it work. I'll make it worth your time.
yeah, and if you want to share your social so the fans know where to interact with you.
Yeah, man. Most of the only thing I use is Instagram. If you guys want to interact, or if you even take the picture and want to message me on Instagram, I'm pretty good about responding. It's just my first and last name, so it's going to be but with ones instead of L's. So it's going to be DI11ONWARE, and that's on Instagram. Said you can DM me. I'm usually pretty good about responding. If I don't, just comment on a picture or something. But now, thank you again, man. Like I said, I really appreciate it. I love what
Yeah,
you've done with the podcast.
appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Hopefully we'll have you on here a few more times throughout the season.
Yes, sir. Anytime. I love to do it.
Absolutely. Well, take care tonight. Get some rest, and we'll see you on the stream at least tomorrow night at 7:30.
Sounds good, man. Have a good night.
Absolutely. Take care. All right. So we had another special guest there, another returning player, Dylan Ware. He is again. He's third on that all-time scoring list. But he did point out a key factor that could be playing into that. AB does have more games as far as that goes compared to Lawan Swish Whitney and Dylan Ware. So Dylan will be chasing down AB throughout the season and trying to cut into that lead. But we'll do a quick thing here for just a couple of things here before we hit the 10 o'clock mark. But we've got those games coming up again. Tomorrow night is against the Columbus Wizards. So let's jump over real quick and show the matchups from this past weekend within our division. So this is our division here, the Central Region Black Division. And the past weekend, we see here our Instigators defeated the Legends. Also got a matchup there. The Inferno took down the Frost 140 to 135. The Fury remained undefeated, going against the River City Gamblers 105 to 98. The Chicago Rebels took down the Monsters of Midwest in a really odd score as far as an ABA score. Typically, they're much, much higher, but that was an 84 to 33 score for that game. That's that's really interesting score. Fury had a matchup on Saturday as well, 111 to 105 against the St. Louis Spirits. Then we also saw Lacrosse Showtime with a 114 to 77 victory against the Wisconsin Frost. There was also, if we jump into our division from last season, the Central Region Red Division, so it loads here. A couple of matchups of teams that we saw last season that we will be playing against some of these teams here in this season. So the Lions and the Ohio Kings, we mentioned that matchup, a 108 to 105 victory for the Lions. Kings, though, we will be playing next weekend. So that is a thing to keep in mind. Nashville Aces, 111 to 106 against the River City Gamblers. Again, we'll be matching up against the Aces at some point this season here as well. And then the Lions, last weekend prior, faced off against the Monsters. Again, that's a team we'll be playing throughout the season. But let's jump back to that other screen. A couple of shout outs here before we get to the end of tonight's stream. Let me see what this one is. Take a look at that upcoming schedule. So after these 3 home games, then we are back on the road again. That's going to be a matchup against the Pitbulls. Right after we play the Pitbulls at home, we'll be going on the road to face off against the Pitbulls, and then we'll wrap up the year back at home, 2 games against the Legends and the defending champion Fury. And then the final game of the 2024 year, not the season, will be on December 28th against the Wizards, the team that we are matching up against tomorrow night at 7:30. Couple of shout outs here. The fans man for this week. Really tough decisions here for the fans. Again, if you're not already a fan voter on our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Apex Athletic Collective. Become a fan voter today. It's a $10 or higher monthly subscription. Or if you want to specifically vote on that fans man vote, you can pay a separate fee. It's a $3 fee per vote to decide who the 12th man will be on the Hoosier State Instigators. Really exclusive opportunity, really unique opportunity to have your voice heard and decide the final roster spot for your Hoosier State Instigators every single week here throughout the ABA season. This week, though, this past week, we had our fans man was Joe Bird in that game against the Indiana Legends. He was the first ever Hoosier State Instigator signed, so lots of history with him. And he was just coming back. He was away for some business, but he just came back here for that game. So he is back on our roster here. This week, though, he was up again for the vote. So we actually had a pretty expansive vote this week. We keep growing and growing as far as the number of players we see on this vote. We had, returning from last week's vote, was Joe Bird, Robert Mitchell, and Anthony Williams. Two new players to vote for: Brandon Smith and Kevin Cameron, aka Stunnaboy. Stunnaboy was on the court this past week against the Legends for his first time, making his professional debut, and he finished with 3 points. He had a layup off of a 3D opportunity for a total of 3 points. But that was, again, in some limited playing time. But that was his first action on the court. And, we saw him on the court throughout the summer league games, but first time here in the ABA play. So it was a close vote, as always. Joe Bird obviously, has a little bit of that history with the team as far as all these players go. He's the only returning player, so he did receive some votes. But this week's Fan Man is a first-time winner for Fans Man. Will be making his very first debut for your Hoosier State Instigators in the ABA. It's going to be Anthony Williams. So congratulations to Anthony Williams. He will be making his Hoosier State Instigators professional debut tomorrow night against the Columbus Wizards at 7:30 p.m. The fans man, as voted by the Hoosier State Instigators, fan voters over on that Patreon. Again, on Patreon, if you're a fan voter or a higher tier, or if you purchase the option to vote exclusively for the fans man, you can decide that 12th man on the roster. This week's winner is Anthony Williams. So congratulations to Anthony, and thank you again, fans, for deciding our final roster spot. We will continue to have that vote every single week, and we've seen that rotation. All 12 players are on the court. So it is a very important vote every single week. One last shout out here before we end tonight's stream. Happy birthday to LB. he blew up in that first game. Great second game as well. Happy birthday! He had his birthday this week. I believe he turned 21. So really young player on the Instigators. Again, in his rookie season for your Hoosier State Instigators, and we've already seen him make a difference on the court in this season just throughout the first two games. And he's provided an explosiveness off of the bench that we hope to continue to see here throughout the season for your Hoosier State Instigators. Again, we will be back at Fisher's, our new hometown, new home venue, Best Choice Fieldhouse, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. against the Columbus Wizards. Big matchup, as the Instigators are now ranked number 16, looking to continue to climb their way up those rankings. It will be streamed here live on Patreon for all of our loyal subscribers and fans. You can also go in person if you are local and have the opportunity. Get your tickets ahead of time online, save a couple of bucks. But we will be at home for the next 3 weekends. Really looking forward to that. And thank you, as always, for everyone joining in tonight's podcast. Thank you to all of our players that stopped by tonight. We hope to have players throughout the season here on the podcast, and provide that exclusive insight. Friday nights, though, we saw is practice nights, so a lot of these guys are just coming out of practice. So we really appreciate them for taking the time here right after practice to stop by the podcast and give the fans a little bit of insight as we go throughout this second ABA season. But thank you again to everybody who tunes in. If you're not already on the Patreon, again, go to the Patreon, subscribe. You can subscribe to watch live games, or you can, and that's only $1 a month, or you can go higher and go with that fan voter tier, $10 a month for that. But for anybody that's watching this a few days later over on the YouTube, go ahead and jump on over to our Patreon. At least check that out. See some of the exclusive opportunities you'll get. Lots of different votes and exclusive streams and opportunities for all of our Patreon subscribers. Thank you again, as always, for joining us Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on Instigate Success, building an ABA franchise. I am your host, Jake Schoen, aka Jakey Muffins. And until next time, as always, be great and instigate.